So me and Pumpkin are just sitting here and realize we haven't talked about Zendikar all weekend. We need to get on that shit. Let's do it. And we're going to be talking about a lot because I'm actually on the second page of the stuff that I haven't been talking about. So it's going to take a little while, but I'll try to be as quick but as coherent as possible. So let's just get into this. Kazul's Fury. 1 red, 2 of any color for an instant. Uncommon, an additional cost to cast a spell is sacrifice a creature, and this card deals damage equal to that sacrificed creature's power to any target. You can also instead play it as a red land that comes out tapped, as all these lands do, except for the mythic ones. The mythic ones are a little bit different. Essentially, it's Fling. That's exactly what it is. It's a more expensive Fling because Fling, quite frankly, is a little too powerful at this point. But also has the advantage of being a land. Yeah, I mean, Fling is always good as long as you have cards to use it with. I use Flings in my Phoenix deck because Phoenixes come back in certain ways, and it's actually a very good card to use, I think, with Phoenixes. He's a cool boy. And I gave him all the screeches and scratches because his mom's not around. But your Uncle Brent's here. It's all good. So, yeah, I like this card. And there he is. There he is. There he is. So, yeah, I like it. I think it's fine. It's a fine little alternative to Fling. I mean, it's more expensive, but it's still, it's the Fling ability. You have anything with 3 or more power, you'll get some sort of benefit out of it. Cabria Takedown. 1 white, 1 of any color. For an instant uncommon. Cabria Takedown deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or a planeswalker. Good if you got a lot of creatures. If you're behind, though, on the board, you're screwed. I mean, even 1 creature is still... yeah, deals damage equal to the number of... Yeah, very rarely do you get a card like this in white. You get cards that do damage to attacking and blocking creatures, but you don't really get it just straight damage doing cards. So that's actually kind of interesting in white. But again, you need that's the downside of it. You need creatures on the field to use this card. If you don't have creatures, you're kind of out of luck. You're SOL. It's a useless card in your hand. If you have at least 1 creature, you can do 1 damage down to creature or planeswalker. If they got 1 toughness, great. Otherwise, it's kind of whatever. Obviously, you need more creatures. If you got a bunch of chumps on the field, now you're cooking. Now you got something going on. Hagara Mauling is 2 black, but so yeah, good situationally, but it's also bad because it's situational. Hagara Mauling, 2 black, 2 of any color for a rare instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast cast if an opponent controls a basic land or controls basic lands. Destroy target creature. So at worst, you have a 4 mana costing destroy target creature at instant speed. At best, yeah. Oh no, controls no basic land. Sorry. And at best, you have a 3, 2 black instant killing target creature with instant speed, which is essentially murder. Which actually is murder. So I mean, there's no murder like in these formats. So this is what they got going on. But if you are playing decks that use murder, you're probably just better off using this, quite frankly. Using murder, quite frankly. But that said, for the forms that murder isn't allowed in right now, it's actually not bad. It's not bad, really that bad at all. 1 second, I want to be sure that the opposite land here is So the thing about all the mythic spells that turn into lands is this: is that you can actually pay the 3 life, and you can actually have the land come out untapped instead of coming out tapped and give you creatures. So that's the deal with all these mythic lands, mythic module cards. Shattered Skull Smashing, nod to Shattered Skull Pass, and Lord of the Shattered Skull Pass. 2 red and X sorcery, mythic rare, deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and/or planeswalkers, and if X is 6 or more, it deals twice that much. Kind of going back to the if it's 5 or more motif from Alara block with like Apocalypse Hydra, the one that makes the Pegasus. And I mean, for damage doing spells, yeah, you're going to need 8 mana, but in the Zendikar format where land's going to be a big thing and mana's going to be everywhere, I could see it being played. The only problem is it's sorcery speed, so you do have to deal with that little fact. But otherwise, no, that's a pretty solid card, I think. Craig Plate Baloth is 2 green, 5 of any color, with a kicker of 1 green and 2 of any color. So if you were to play it for its full kicker cost and mana cost, you're now basically casting 10, 3 green and 7 of any color. For a 6/6 rare beast, the spell cannot be countered at hexproof and haste. If it was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 4+1 counters on it. So in essence, for 10 mana, you could have a 10/10 haste hexproof. But without having trample, it really is. I mean, granted, it's a 10/10 with haste and hexproof. You're basically just going to swing with it every turn if you got the opportunity, and eventually, hopefully, give it trample. Otherwise, I mean, you can still play it for 7 as a 6/6 with a hex haste that can't be countered. Honestly, I think I'd just rather play as a 6/6 for 7 with haste hexproof and can't be countered, and then just give it trample along the way, and it'll still be a fantastic freaking card. Now, that being said, if you got the lizard, I believe it is, that reduces kicker cost, that helps. That helps a bit. You can play it for 8 for 6 and make it a 10/10 for 8, which is pretty solid. So, not impossible. I mean, hypothetically, I could maybe see myself making a kicker deck, but kicker is just such a... I'm going to be flat honest. I'm not a huge fan of kicker. I don't hate it. There are good kicker cards out there, definitely, but I'm like... Why not just make the card as it is? I mean, I get it, cost reduction, rarity, all that, but I don't know. Kicker's just not my personal mechanic. Inscription of Ruin, the black one of the kicker spells. You can pay 1 black, 2 of any color, or with a kicker cost of 2 black and 2 of any color for a grand total of 3 black and 4 of any color. Basically choose one, or if it's kick, choose any of them. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Okay, so you got Mind Rot there. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, you got some recursion. Destroy target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less. You got destruction. The problem, if you do not have a creature with that converted mana cost in the grave, that second one's useless. If your opponent doesn't have any cards in their hand, the first one's useless. And if they don't have a creature that's 3 or less, that's even worth it, that one's useless. This is a very situational one that you kind of need to build your deck somewhat around to use properly. What are you looking at, buddy? Your food. I'm pretty sure you still got some food in there. There you go. So yeah, I'm not my favorite one. Royal Eruption is 1 red, 1 of any color with kicker 5, so you can do it for 7, 6 of any, and 1 red. This card deals 3 damage to any target, or if it was kicked, deal 5 damage to any target. Honestly, it's Lightning Bolt. Not Lightning Bolt. It's oh god. Why am I forgetting it? It's not Lightning Bolt. What is it? The one I know what spell it is essentially. It's just a sorcery speed. It's good. You're probably gonna rather just play it for that. And just burn someone for 3 or take out a creature for 3 instead of paying 7 mana to just, deal that much. Again, unless you're reducing kicker costs, in which case it suddenly becomes more worth it. Otherwise, it's not bad, at least for a burn spell, in my opinion. Attendant Healer is 1 white, 3 of any color for a 2/3 core cleric. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, create a 1/1 white cat creature token. That's interesting. You can pay 2 and 1 of any color. Another target cleric gains 1 lifelink until the end of turn. Unique. Great for a little. If you're heavy into life gain, that will be interesting. I don't know. This is kind of in a weird spot for me. It's 2/3 for 4, which is fine. The fact that it's giving lifelink to another cleric is cool, but it'd be cooler if it gave itself lifelink. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's a healer. And I mean, you're getting a cat, so that's great, but you need to be gaining life too. So if you're not gaining life through anything else, you got a problem. Expedition Champion is 1 red, 2 of any color for a human warrior, common. It gets +2/+0 as long as you control another warrior. That's easier to handle than, say, the other cleric and then paying the mana. So that means, in essence, you'll have a 4/3 for 3, which isn't bad. that's above the curve, so that's pretty solid. Merfolk Falconer is 2 blue, 1/3 of any color for a very large falcon. 4/4 Merfolk Wizard, uncommon, flying. Whenever you cast a kicked spell, scry 2. You got the kicker deck going, great. Otherwise, it's just a 4/4 for 5 with flying, which still isn't bad. You good boy. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, you're so. Oh my God, you're so needy. You're so needy. All right. Thieving, you say, we're adorable. He's not even my cat, but he loves people. He loves his mom, obviously. He loves Shanae, but my friend's name is Shanae, by the way. Yeah, he loves his mom, but anytime I come over and he gets a chance, he will just snuggle the crap out of me like he's doing right now. Oh man, he just loves attention, and not just for me, just about anyone who walks through the door. Man. You are redonkulous. You are redonkulous. I mean, maybe I should just make videos of cats and Domino from now on. I'll just get so many hits. Because cat videos, dog videos, those are the big videos. Yeah, trust me. If I wanted to start making getting a lot of real big hits on YouTube, I know the videos I'd have to make to do that. I'd just rather talk about things I like. I'm not that I don't like cats, but it's just not what I'm not in the business necessarily of trying to get views. I'm in the business of talking about stuff I like to talk about, having fun, and hopefully getting views. So there is a bit of a difference. Thieving Skydiver is 1 blue, 1 of any color, with a kicker of X. Now that is interesting. So this one actually has a kicker that I can get behind because the kicker can be literally anything. Flying 2/1. So right now off the bat, it's a 2/1 for 2 when flying. So, or you can make a 3/1 play. Ow! That was not fun. He plopped off the couch and he got my jeans and therefore went into my kneecap with his claws. Ooh, I don't think I'm bleeding, but that wasn't fun. You are really wacky right now. Okay, anyway, when this enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, gain control of target artifact with converted mana cost X or less. That artifact is an equipment attached to this card. So it's actually not a bad little card. It's a great little snatching card. But again, it's a card you probably are going to hold off on just until your opponent has an artifact you'd want to play or take. If it's an equipment, you're automatically going to equip it on here, which is great. Only problem is if they're not playing with any artifacts, you're going to have a problem on your hand. Because then this card is basically just sitting there. Still, though, it's a 2/1 for flying for 2, so it's at least got that evasion advantage to it. You are silly. You are just silly. He's literally just going crazy. Blood Beckoning is 1 black, common, with a kicker of 3, so you can play it for up to 4. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If this card spell is kicked, instead return 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. That's fine. Hell, frankly, I'd just play the first part and be done with it. Disenchant gets a reprint with some nice art. What? You going after my toys? Oh my god, you're so silly. You are so silly. Here, play with that. Sorry, I'm just getting something to keep his attention. So anyway. Cunning Geyser Mage is 1 blue, 2 of any color for a 3/2 human wizard. Kicker, 1 blue, 2 of any color. Geyser Mage enters the battlefield. If it was kicked, return up to one other target creature to its owner's hand. So if you pay 6 for a 3/2, you are able to bounce a creature. There are cards that do this far better. And quite frankly, no. Just no. I can say I'm not a fan of this one. Spare Supplies, 2 of any color for an artifact, enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you can draw. You do draw a card. You can pay 2, sacrifice this card, and draw a card. So basically, it's a card drawer. Whoop. And it's a card drawer. It's fine. Yeah, I mean for 2, you'll get to draw a card. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I can't think of anything really beyond that. It's really awesome. Again, just trying to find anything I can to occupy him at the moment. Play with that. Oh, you want to hit that remote? No, probably not. Okay, I'm just jury rigging something really quick here. Nope. Okay. You got me on the spot here, man. I gotta entertain you and that one working. That one's working. So Iridescent Horn Beetle is Iridescent. He's 1 green, 4 of any color for a 3/4 insect uncommon. At the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each 1/1 counter you put on creatures under your control this turn. I could make use of that and say like a Devour deck, for instance. Because then I'm just really feeling it. But if you're not able to get +1 counters out, you got to be in a deck that's putting +1 counters out, man. Otherwise, you're screwed. But still, not a bad a card for like that type of. I could find a home for that card, definitely. So I mean, not bad, but a little pricey. Kargan Intimidator. Now, people thought the other guy, I can't remember his name, the bold one, I can't remember his name, but he was getting a reprint because cowards can't block warriors, but that's not the case here. 1 red, 1 of any color for a 3/1 human wizard. Cowards can't block warriors. Pay 1 of any color, choose 1 if it hasn't been chosen this turn. This card gets +1/+1 until the end of turn, making it a 4/2. Target creature becomes a coward until the end of turn. Target warrior gains trample until the end of turn. So yeah, on a 1-on-1 basis, this thing is getting through everything that doesn't have X-proof because it's going to turn everything into a coward. But against multiple opponents, this guy suddenly doesn't become so brave. The warrior suddenly becomes a coward because you're not going to want to attack with. You're not going to want to risk your heavy hitter. Then again, you probably have heavier hitters than this guy. He's a fun card. Don't get me wrong. I could find use for it, but still, he's not the great. I see when I saw that, I was wondering, he's like, they're gonna make coward a legitimate creature type. My God. What do you see out there, buddy? What do you see? It's not bad. You'll again in a 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 scenario, you'll probably get the advantages more than the advantages outweigh the disadvantages in this case. Seagate Restoration is 3 blue, 4 of any color for a mythic rare sorcery. Again, if you do the land side, pay 3, comes out untapped. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand plus 1. You have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. There's probably going to be an emblem for that. Oh, excuse me. Because I noticed that none of the Planeswalkers, I think, have ultimates that do emblems in this set, which is interesting to me. But this one you're probably going to get an emblem for, because otherwise you're going to have to reiterate you have no maximum hand size. For 7 mana, yeah, like this would be the shittiest card to top deck, actually. This would be a terrible card to top deck. Let's see here. Oh God, one in the Spanish? No, that's not Spanish. Muramasa Sprouting is a 3/3 elemental creature. I'm pretty sure elemental or plant elemental. Yes, for 3 mana with a kicker of 2. When there's a battlefield, this kick target creature with a kicker ability, you return it from your graveyard. So basically, it's a kicker card. It's a card specifically designed for the kicker deck. Like I said, because I'm not a big fan of kicker, and because you have to specifically make a deck for it, yeah, I'm not feeling that one that much. Morog, Fury of Akum, 2 red, 4 of any color for a 6/8. Oh, I was supposed to say 6/8, but no, 6/6. Minotaur Warrior, Legendary, Mythic. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it has attacked this turn. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, and if it's your combat main phase, there's an additional combat main phase after that turn. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. So basically, you're getting a free swing with this guy, which means he's pumping up everyone up the first time by 1, and everyone up by the second time by 2. But the fact that he doesn't have any sort of like trample or even a first strike or something like that kind of just means he's a beat stick again. The benefits here is that he's pumping up the entire field, which is good, but it's also because it's a landfall. It means that you do have to be playing lands for it. So yeah. I don't know. It's not terrible. You'll definitely get some value out of it. It's on a good curb. I don't know. It's okay. You're probably only ever going to get the first one off more than the second one off. Not even rephrase that sentence. You'll get the first effect off more than you'll get the landfall off. Lithoform Blight is 1 black, 1 of any color for it's a story spotlight. Heedless of Nissa's warnings, Nahiri repeated her history. Oh, that's not good. Because Nahiri is shaping up to be the villain of this set. And shame, because she my bae, but at the same time, I get it. And yeah, honestly, the girl needs to be taken down a peg. She can't see past her own needs. Anyway, Enchant Land. When Lithoform Blight enters the battlefield, Enchant Land loses all land types and abilities and has tap, add 1 colorless, and pay 1 life, and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Okay, it's going to draw you a card. That's good. You'll have to pay a life, though, now to to be able to get any color you want, including the color you originally had. But I know there's a lot of people who would actually play that, so take that for what it's worth. Muramasa Brew, it's just a 3/3 for 3. It's vanilla creature. Vanilla creatures like that aren't bad. You'll use them, especially in sealed. Cinderclasm, 1 red, 1 of any color, with a kicker of 1 red. So basically, you cast it for 2 red and 1 of any color, or just 1 red and 1 of any color. Deals 1 damage to each creature. If it was kicked, deals 2 damage to each creature instead. Which reminds me of, oh god, I have the card, Pyroclasm. Reminds me of Pyroclasm, just a bit more expensive. Yeah, I can get behind that, especially because I love Pyroclasm. I never said I hated all kicker cards. I don't even hate kicker. I just don't like it that much. Phylath, World Sculptor. 1 red, 1 green, 4 of any color for a rare legendary creature elemental 5/5. Enters the battlefield, you create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each basic land you control. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put 4 +1/+1 counters on target plant you control. See, that's interesting. Actually, I don't mind this one. Just due to the fact that, I mean, most people are going to have non-basic lands to help cast things. But if you can hard cast this with basic lands, which isn't impossible by any stretch of the means, you can get 6 0/1 plants, and then every time lands enter the battle, actually if you get it out earlier, you can get less plants, but you'll be able to get more benefit with your landfall. So therefore, you're going to be able to get more out of your plants. So not bad. I've seen worse cards, definitely. Lull Mage's Familiar is 1 blue, 1 green, 1 of any color. My favorite color combination, blue-green, at least the dual colors. For a 2/4 beast, good rate. You can tap it to add 1 green, 1 blue, also good. Whenever you cast a kick spell, you gain 2 life. Not as good just because you need to be in a kicker deck. If you're in a kicker deck, this is actually a pretty solid card. It's giving you mana to help with the kicking, and you're getting 2 life for any time you kick. So it's good. It's a good card. Not amazing, but good. Dreadworm, which it's not a snake, but it looks like a giant snake, and I love it. Worm Horror, awesome. 1 black, 4 of any color for a 5/4 Worm Horror with landfall. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, it gains indestructible till the end of turn. Really? That's only a common card? I mean, it's not a rare level card, but I would think Mythic. I would think uncommon. Like, really? Make it indestructible? That's not that hard to do, especially like I said, with mana acceleration, all that. So I'm actually surprised they made that thing common. Again, not a game breaker, but one that's going to be very annoying for your opponent to deal with, definitely. As at least because you'll be attacking with it every time it becomes indestructible. It doesn't matter what they have up against it. You'll attack. And if they have a death touch, nope. Now you can just swing right through it. They got first strike, doesn't matter. Double strike, screw it, doesn't matter. So yeah, I like this guy. I could again find use for this. Luminarix Aspirant is 1 white, 1 of any color for a 1/1 human cleric rare at the beginning of your combat. On your turn, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. That is such a simplistic ability, and I love it. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you just put a +1 counter on something, and it's not legendary, so you could have 4 of these on the field and be pumping up 4 different creatures, or pumping up 1 creature 4 times, or spacing out how you like. I like this. Yeah, sign me up for 4 copies of this card. I love this card. It's simplistic, but it's good. Scale the Heights is 1 green, 2 of any color for a sorcery. Put a +1 counter on up to 1 target creature. You gain 2 life, and you can play an additional land this turn from your hand and draw a card. Well, that's all the effects wrapped into 1. Now, you might not always have a card in your hand, like a land in your hand to play, but you'll still get a +1 creature on target, +1 counter on target creature, pump, 2 life, a little bit of gain on a life to keep you going, and then you draw a card. Honestly, you don't even have to put the extra land out, and this card's a good card. So yeah, this is a really solid card at common. Wow. Sorcery Speed is probably the only thing I'm going to see people complain. It says Sorcery Speed. It's like, oh, spoiled brats. If they made it instant, it'd immediately go up to uncommon. Can be Baloth. I love Baloth. Baloth, meet Baloth. They do a lot. We're simpatico here. 4/3 for 4 mana. 1 green, 3 of any color with landfall. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +2/+2 to end turn. So you have a 4 mana, or a 4/3 for 4 mana that actually becomes a 6/5 anytime you play a land. That is fantastic. Right. See, I have a bunch of landfall cards, but I have cards that it's a 4/4 that you put out for 6, but if you play a land, it gains +2/+2. Now I just have a 6/6 for 6. Why don't I just play a 6/6 for 6 and I don't have to do that? This makes a lot more sense. It's a 4/3 for 4. Perfectly reasonable rate right there. Then when you play a land, now it's becoming a 6/5. Now you're getting benefit on that, as opposed to just having something you could have easily played on its own without landfall. So again, that's a really good common. I'm actually more impressed by some of the commons I'm seeing than on some of the rares, which is kind of sad. Again, this set doesn't look terrible. It's just not my overall taste, even though I love the Zendikar world. Anyway, Dauntless Unity is 1 white, 1 of any color. Kicker, 1 white, 1 of any color. So a grand total of 2 white, 2 of any color. Creatures you control get +1/+1 till the end turn, or creatures you control get +2/+1 till the end turn. So essentially, inspired charge. Is that it? Basically that. Magmatic Channeler is 1 of any color, 1 red. For a rare human wizard, 1/3. As long as there are 4 or more instants and sorceries and cards in your graveyard, this card gets +3/+1. In essence, making it a 4/4/4/2. You can tap this card, discard a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library, then choose one of them, and you may play this card that turn. That's a lot going on there. Well, first off, honestly, you're probably just going to... Well, I mean, it's not hard, especially in like a burn deck, to get 4 instants or sorceries in your graveyard within the first few turns. That's really not difficult to do at all. So now you're just getting a 4/4 for 2 with no downside. If you want to if you're behind, like let's say your hand is just clean wiped out, then this card can come in handy. Then you can start playing. So I mean, it's good. I like it. I could probably find it at home. Is it amazing? I don't know if I go that far. I've never really been a fan of the exile the cards off the top of your library and then play them, because if you can't play them, then you're kind of in trouble. But again, you can get a land and play it, things along those lines. But it says choose 1 and play it. So that's the other problem I have. Spring Mantle Cleric is 1 green, 4 of a color for a 2/3 elf cleric, rare. Enters the battlefield, a +1 counter on it for each color mana spent to cast it. Interesting. So if you're in a 5-color deck, which I'm guessing is what you'd want to be, you can put 5 +1 counters on this guy, and you basically made a 7/8 for 5. Hell, even if you only go the 4 mana route, you're now making a 6/7 for 5. And if you go the 3 mana route, you're now going a 5/6 for 5. That's probably where I would cap it off, because otherwise I wouldn't really have any interest in playing this card. Because for 1 color mana, you're only giving it +1/+1, making it a 3/4 for 5. Not worth it, really, with no extra effect. 2 mana, now you're making a 4/5. Now you're close. For me, it's a 3 mana. 3 mana is a sweet spot, so that's, to me, is where you'd start to play this guy. If you can get the full 5 mana, have fun with that. Shadow Stinger is 1 black, 2 of any color for a vampire rogue, uncommon. Tap another untapped rogue you control. This card gets Death Touch. This card deals damage to a player. That player mills 3 cards. Great. If you're in a rogue deck and you want to mill some people, or if you want to get tricky and, give it Death Touch somehow, but not really feeling that. I can't say I'm feeling that one. I don't like the tap creature of a type effect. That, to me, I don't like that. Scorch Rider is 1 red, 3 of any color for a 4/3 human warrior. Kicker, 1 red, 1 of any color. So total, you'd be paying 6. Enters the battlefield. If it was kicked, it gains haste until the end of turn. Wait, what? So for 4, you're getting a 4/3 that doesn't have haste. For 6, you're getting a 4/3 with haste. But there are far better cards. Case in point, Canopy Baloth is a much better card than this for the exact same mana cost and exact same stats. Yeah, the haste could be useful, but let's be clear. How long is it going to take you to get 6 mana sometimes? Even with like certain board states, like in certain environments like this where the land's going to be running amok. How long do you honestly think it's going to take you to get 6 mana? At least 3 to 4 turns minimum, and that's if you set your deck up right. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait at minimum 6 turns. So, and at that point, other people are going to have stuff that, frankly, it's not going to be worth it to pay the 6 mana to give this thing haste. Unless you're able to somehow wipe the board late in the game and then just bring this out and swing for the win. So, yeah, not feeling that one. Jawari Disruptor. 1 blue, 1 of any color. Instant. It can also be a blue spell, blue land that comes out tapped. Counter target spell lists of control phase 1. In the long list of spells that do this, this is not very unique. Inornate Rage. 1 red, 1 of a color for instant. Target creature gets +3/+2 until the end turn, and scry 1. That's a good pump spell. I'll play that. Not quite a giant growth, but the scry certainly evens it out. So the extra mana is worth it, at least in my opinion. Kasadu Nectar Pot is 1 green, 1 of a color for an insect. 1/3 landfall enters the battlefield. Under your control, you gain 1 life. There's other cards that do this too. This is fine. It's kind of like your standard landfall card or a standard card you'll have in a landfall deck. So yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Black Bloom Rogue is 2/3 for a uncommon human rogue. 2/3. Yeah, for a 2/3 uncommon rogue, human rogue, that is 1 black and 2 of any color. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. With menace, it gets +3/+0 as long as your opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. Which means for you'll have a 5/3 menace for 3. Actually, that's not terrible. 5/3 and menace is no joke. You're gonna have trouble with that. So yeah, I can think of worse cards definitely. I could consider playing that in the right way, right deck. Leyline Tyrant. I love the art on this dragon. Looks awesome. Effect wise, I'm not so much in love with it, but it's not the worst. 2 red, 2 of any color for a mythic dragon. Flying. You don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. When this card dies, you may pay any amount of red mana, and when you do, it deals that much damage to any target. So, I mean, in theory, could you just tap? I see. This is the whole unspent mana thing has always been a little confusing to me. Can you just tap your mana? Say you're tapping it for mana, and then do nothing with it? Is that something you can do? That part's always, because if that's the case, then this thing will immediately become disgusting. Because the moment it dies, all you're going to do is pay all that untapped red mana and then blow up someone's head. So, yeah, if that's the case, that thing gets kind of gross kind of fast. If not, then you're going to be struggling a little bit. Glacial Grasp, 1 blue, 2 of any color for an instant. Tap target creature, controller mills 2 cards. That creature doesn't untap during the next untap step, and you draw a card. Not bad in a mill deck. It'll stop your opponent for a little bit. Mill a couple cards, and you get the free draw. So, yeah, not bad. Veteran Adventurer is 1 green, 5 of any color for a 5/5 human. It is also a cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. So we're seeing multiple cards that are not doing that, which is pretty good. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. Vigilance. So that means it actually can cost up to as low as 2. So not terrible. There's a cheaper card that we'll look at in a little bit. Where is it? Where'd you go? Wow. Oh, is it not here? I could have swore they spoiled. Well, anyway, it's an artifact creature that actually has the same thing here, except it taps for mana. So, yeah. Skyclave Pickaxe is 1 green, 1 green for a equipment uncommon, enters the battlefield attached to target creature. It has landfall. The creature that's equipped gets +2/+2 at the end turn. It equips for 1 green, 2 of any color. It's fine. It's perfectly adequate for a landfall deck. Perfectly adequate for any kind of green deck that's looking for a little extra pump, quite frankly. Tazim Raptor is 1 white, 2 of any color for a 2/2 bird. When it enters the battlefield, you may turn target land you control to its owner's hand. Now, in a landfall deck, this thing is actually pretty sick. Because then you're just getting the free the landfall again. So yeah, not bad, not bad. Mind Drain, 1 black, 2 of any color for sorcery. Target opponent discards 2 cards, mills a card, and you lose 1 life. You gain 1 life. Essentially, it's Vicious Rumors upgraded, and I like Vicious Rumors, quite frankly. So not bad. Turn Timber Symbiosis, 3 green, 4 of any color for a mythic rare sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, and you may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. If that card has a converted mana cost 3 or less, and then enters the battlefield with 3/+1 counters on it. Put the rest on the bottom in any order. Converted mana cost 3 or less. I don't know if this thing should be mythic, quite frankly. 7 mana is a lot. And it seems to be the mana cost for all these mythic rare ones. 7 mana is a lot. Now you get to look at 7 cards. That's great. Put a creature card, but convert Mono costs 3 less, and you get 3/+1 counters on it. But you then have to be sure the creature is going to be worth it. So I don't know if I like this card, quite frankly. I like the art, but I don't really like the card itself. Concerted Defense. 1 blue, instant, uncommon. Target creature, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller plays 1 of any color, plus an additional 1 for each creature in your party. Which immediately turns it into the strongest mono league ever, but only if you have the right board state. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah, it would, because that means they have to pay an extra 5. Strongest negate in the world. Well, no, negate can do this regardless, but strongest mono league-esque negate, I guess. Malacare Rebirth is 1 red, 1 black. Choose target instant uncommon. Choose target creature. You lose 2 life. Till end turn, that creature gains. When this creature dies, return to the battlefield, tapped and under its opponent's control. Only good if you know you're going to be losing the creature. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother. Sanduli Vision is uncommon. It's instant. 1 blue, 2 many color. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. If you're looking for a certain instant or sorcery, this is a good way to get it out there. Otherwise, meh. Mesa Lynx, 1 white, 2 many color for a 2/1 cat, as long as it's common. As long as it's not your turn, it gets +0/+2, which means it's a 2/3 on your opponent's turn, so it's good for blocking. Alright, fine. Living Tempest, I believe this is a reprint. 1 blue, 4 of any color for flash, flying, 3/3. It's okay. Not amazing. Like, most commons aren't that amazing, but some commons can be pretty sick. Scourge of the Skyclaves is 1 black, 2 of any color for a demon. Mythic. Star with a kicker of 1 black, 4 of any color for a grand total of 7. When you cast a spell, if it was kicked, each player loses half their life rounded up. This card's power and toughness are equal to 20 minus the highest life total among players. Which is interesting. Means in a life gain deck, if you're like up, you can't have the highest life around. Because it's 20 minus the highest life still. So if you were to somehow get this card out and you both still have 20 life, it comes out as a 10/10, which is great, but I don't know. And plus, it's hurting you, so there's that little caveat as well. And it doesn't have any abilities. If it had flying, a death touch, a life, anything to it, it would be pretty sick. But it's, again, just a freaking beat stick. Now, again, late game, this actually might not be so bad because it's really going to do a life swing. But if you have less life than your opponent, I wouldn't recommend you doing that. I wouldn't recommend using this card. At least not in my opinion. Skyclave Shadow Cat is a cat horror. 1 holdover from Ikoria. 1 black, 3 of any color for a 3/3. Cat horror, uncommon. Pay 1 black, 1 of any color. Sacrifice another creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on this card. Whenever a creature you control with a +1 counter on it dies, draw a card. Great. Again, if you have +1 counters going on. If you don't, this card becomes kind of useless. Moss Pit Skeleton is 1 black, 1 green. Kicker 3, so it means come out with a total of 5. If this card was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 3 +1 counters on it, meaning it comes out as a 5/5 for 5. Whenever 1 or more +1 counters on a creature, whenever 1 or more are put on a creature you control, if this card is in your graveyard, you put this card on the top of your library. No, just no. No. Some of these character cards get kind of ridiculous. Yeah, it's like, so wait, you're telling me not only is this thing gotta die, but if I could kick it and make it a 5/5, great. But then if it was kicked, it gets 3 +1 counters on it. What's the point of having this thing? Now, if this thing were, say, not a kicker, I guess it's better. As a kicker, has an extra ability. You still got to put +1 counters on things. I don't know. Not really my taste. I recognize it, at least as a bear, it's a recurring bear, as long as you're able to put +1 counters on stuff. But still, not my thing. Journey to Oblivion is 1 white, 4 of any color. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. Enters the battlefield, exile. Basically, it's Journey to Oblivion, or excuse me, Oblivion Ring, or Path to Exile. Is it Path to Exile? I want to say it is. But with the party effect, which means it can cost only 1 white, which makes it technically better, but again, it's situational, so take that for what it's worth. Drana Silencer is 1 red, black, 5 mana color for a 3/2. Vampire Rogue enters the battlefield. Target creature an opponent controls +X/+X. X the number of creatures. But I don't like this one. Again, its ability is so dependent on your board state. And this one doesn't even have a cost reduction, so you have to pay the 6. At best, all you're doing is doing -4/-4. If they got something bigger on the field, say a 5/5 Moss Pit Skeleton, that thing's not dying. Now, granted, it'll be very hard to... Or if you're going up against, say, Scourge and Skyclaves, which could be a 13/13 for all you know, you got a problem on your hand. So, not my... I don't like that one. Wayward Guide Beast is 1 red, 2/2, Trample Haste. When this deals combat damage to a player, return a land you control to its owner's hand. You can get it on turn 1. Sorry, I thought I heard something. You can get on turn 1. It's decent. Actually, on turn 1, it's actually really good. And then you bounce back the land if you want. Actually, no, you can't. No, you can't do it if you want. You have to do it. May abilities are better in these circumstances than have to abilities. And yeah, I'm not a fan necessarily of May abilities, and you have to do it. So you play it on turn 1, you actually are kind of behind. So pick your turn and pick your stuff wise, because that's the thing. You won't be able to continue and play lands and build up your board state with this guy. So it's actually kind of deceiving. I don't know if I like that one now that I look at it further. Nahiri's lithoforming. 2 red, X, rare. Sacrifice X lands. For each land sacrifices away, draw a card. You may play X additional lands this turn. Lands you control enter the battlefield tapped. Oh, hi, buddy. So what you're saying is I'm getting rid of my lands so I can draw and play hopefully the same amount of lands. No. No, it's to activate landfall. I get it. But no. Zendikar is severed enough. It's time for the last. Yeah, it's another story card. It's showing off that it seems to be, I'm getting the impression Nissa might win, or Nahiri might win this, given the impression I'm getting from the story. But there's still more story spotlight cards to come, hopefully. So who knows? K and Gerbil. Oh, or Jerboa. Jerboa. It's so adorable. It's a little mouse. It's literally got the type mouse. 1 white, 2 of any color for a 1/2 mouse. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, creatures. Control creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of turn, which means you make your tiny mouse a slightly bigger mouse. It's fun. It's actually it's a pretty solid card. It's adorable. And you're adorable. Molten Blast is 1 red, 2 of any color for an instant. Choose 1. Deal 2 damage to target creature, planeswalker, or destroy target artifact. It's fine. it's fine. Forsaken Monument is 5 of any color. Legendary, mythic, rare artifact. Colorless creatures you control get +2/+2. Whenever you tap permanent for colorless mana, add an additional colorless mana. And whenever you cast a colorless spell, you gain 2 life. And basically, they said flat out, the Eldrazi are not in the set, but the remains of them, the reminders of them, are still around. This is basically like Ulamog's monument for when he was here. Maybe he's not fully dead. We don't know. Akiri, Fearless Voyager, is 1 white, 1 red, 1 of any color for a 3/3 core warrior rare legendary creature. Whenever you attack a player with 1 or more equipped creatures, draw a card. You may pay 1 white. You may unattach an equipment from a creature you control, and if you do that, the creature gains indestructible to the end of turn. Okay. I got a white red equipment deck, so I could find a use for that. It's not out of the question. Dreadworm is alternate art is pretty good. It's like Dreadworm. We already talked about this. You go, boy. This one, oh crap. Reclaiming the Moors. Search your kicker 3, cost 1 green, so most cost 4. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand. If you kicked it, do it for 2 instead. It's good either way, honestly. I guess it all depends on what your board state's like if you want to do it. So we have Lithoform Engine, another story spotlight card. Mythic Rare, legendary artifact. 4 of any color. Pay 2 to tap it, pay 3 to tap it, or pay 4 to tap it. If you pay 2 to tap it, copy target activator or triggered ability, you may choose a new target for this copy. If you do the 3, target copy target instant sorcery or copy target instant or sorcery, new target, and you can copy a target permanent, basically make a token. So it makes all the copies. Right on. I'm sure there's good use for it. Unfortunately, with legendaries, it's not going to work. Planeswalkers, it won't work either. Skyclave Relic is 3 of any color, artifact, rare, kicker, indestructible. Enters the battlefield. It was kicked to create 2 tapped tokens that are copies of this card. Add 1 mana of any color. So essentially, it's Darksteel Ignite, but better. That's exactly what it is. A better Darksteel Ignite. So great. Maddening Cacophony. 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 of any color, and a kicker of 1 blue, 3 of any color. Each opponent mills 8 cards. This spell was kicked. Instead, each opponent mills half their deck, rounded up. Actually, for a rare card, that's pretty disgusting. Because, I mean, just for 2 mana, you can mill 8, which is pretty good. Because, like in Seal, that's nearly a quarter of the deck. Actually, that's about 20% of the deck in Sealed. And if you're able to, for 6 mana, to mill half your opponent's deck, that's actually pretty solid. So, yeah, this is pretty good. And Jace's kind of going insane from what we're from Zendikar itself. Well, we're probably past 30 minutes at this point. Whoa, we're at 40 minutes. This one's going long. Luckily, we're almost done. Holy crap. Inscription of Insight, the blue one. So 1 blue, 3 of any color. Still got the same kicker cost, so it costs 8. You can either return up to 2 target creature cards to their owner's hand, scry 2, then draw 2. Target player puts X blue illusion creature token, an XX blue illusion. 1 XX blue illusion creature token, where X is the number of cards in your hand. This one's far more replayable than the black one, but 8 mana is pretty steep, so keep that in mind. Kasadu Stomper, 1 green, 5 any color for 6/5 Trampler. Enters the battlefield, return up to 2 lands you control to their owner's hands. Again, it's for the landfall rally, but not bad. All things considered, 6/5 with tramples. At least it's got board presence. Undo Inversion is 2 white, 6 of any color. Destroy all non-land permanents. Okay, that's pretty much wiping everything out. Good to know. Yeah, it's a board wiper. Those are usually pretty good. Squad Commander is 1 white, 3 of any color for a 3/3 Core Warrior. Enters the battlefield. Create a 1/1 white Core Warrior creature token for each creature in your party. At the beginning of your combat, on your turn, you may, if you have a full party, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until the end of turn. Only good if you really have a full party, but if you have a full party, have at it. Scoot Swarm. Oh my god, Scoot Mob had babies. More babies anyway, because they were already a mob. Survivor Rule 786. There are always more Scoop. I love it. They just redid the flavor decks. 1/1 Insect Landfall. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 1/1 green insect creature token. And if you control 6 or more lands, create a token that's a copy of Scoop Mob instead. Okay, so essentially this is Scoop Mob, but in a different. This is making a bunch of clones of Scoop Mob, or Scoot Swarm, if you will, instead of pumping up Scoop Mob. Interesting. Not bad. I like it all right. This one is Kazudu Mammoth. Oh, we got a mammoth. Can come out. It's a rare mammoth that can come out as a green land tapped. It is 3 mana, 2 green, 1 of any color for a 3/3. Okay. All right. Landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Okay, see, again, that's an example of a card that's got a good rate to it. It's a 3/3, but it'll be turning into a 5/5. So that's a card that I can get behind. There's a couple cards that did get spoiled that just didn't show up on this site. Surprisingly, NTG Salvation showed them, but whatever. I've been going with this site, and I like these guys a bit better. Vastwood Fortification is 1 green, put a +1 counter on target creature. I believe it's a reprint, so it's fine. It's instant. Negate gets a reprint, and finally, Skyclave Shade is where we end the day today, and there it is. Okay. It is, 1 black, 1 of any color for a 3/1 Shade rare kicker, 1 black, 2 of any color for a total of 5 if you want to go that route. It can't block. If it was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 2/+1 counters, making it a 5/3, and it has landfall. When it enters the battlefield under your control, if it's in your graveyard and it's your turn, you may cast it from the graveyard. That's a lot of stuff that really doesn't do much. It's a 5/3 that can't block, which means you always have to attack with it. You have to have a land enter the battlefield under your control to be able to cast it, and then really it's only worth it for the continuing attacking if you're basically have it as a 5/3, so you have to pay the 5 mana. I can't say I'm really digging that one. But that is all the cards I missed over the weekend. Maybe I should have done this in 2 parts. Oh well. Thanks for watching, though. I hope you hung in there. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.